Lady Gaga's longtime hairstylist, that man Frederic Aspiras, gets an Oscar nod in the Best Makeup and Hairstyling category. Aspiras is part Filipino, part Vietnamese, and he's been working with the Mother Monster for about 15 years now. He's only the second Asian American to be nominated for a hair and makeup Oscar. And Frederic now joins us all the way from Los Angeles, California. Good morning. Well, hello, Frederic. So glad you can join us. And wow, amazing. Congratulations to you. How does it feel to be nominated at the Oscars?
Well, first of all, good morning, Christine, and maganda umaga, Philippines. It feels wonderful. I still am smiling from all the excitement and just the thought of being only the second Asian to ever be nominated.
It's such an amazing feat for you. You are in charge of Lady Gaga's looks in the House of Gucci. How long did it take you to prepare for it, and what did you need to do?
Well, we prepared quite extensively. Lady Gaga is such she immerses herself into all her work, and I'm part of her team, and then she wanted to really prepare for this role. So I started doing this about 6 months before we even started filming in Rome, in Los Angeles, and this is all during COVID lockdown last year. So there was really not a lot of outside help, and took many long nights of research. I did extensive research of all Italian culture, what a woman would do or be influenced by culturally, to create all these hairstyles that you see on the film. Because Patrizia Reggiani's life she's not famous and she doesn't have photos everywhere on the internet. I had to figure out what she would look like in her 20s and her 30s, and then piece them together with what photos were available online. And then throughout all that research and interviewing with Italian women through Zoom and talking to people who lived in that time in Italy, culturally they're very different from America. What we think of Italian women in America. So presenting that to Lady Gaga and to our director, Ridley Scott, it was kind of a feat because, I really had to convince them for certain hairstyles, and Ridley Scott, the director, only wanted 2 hairstyles because it was so complicated to cover 3 decades of a woman's life in a film. It would take forever to edit and really hard. So, with all the preparation, with all the prep work, really let me become really confident when I got there, because that way we were really ready when we got to set, and ready for the screen test and everything. So all that, I created a 400-page directory of hairstyles so that,
You definitely had a pivotal part. She had to look the part in order for her to portray, Patricia in the most authentic manner possible. How many looks did you actually end up creating, and do you have a favorite one?
Well, there is about, I think, around 52 to 54 looks that made it on the screen. Mind you, there was a lot of editing, and the movie was a lot longer, so there was a lot. Very much. We had 10 hero wigs that we used throughout the film. Everything you see on the film is wigs, and representing all 3 decades of the 70s, 80s, and the 90s. So those were pretty challenging to do. Long hours of setting and prepping all these wigs that were authentically done exactly the same way that they were done of the time.
Do you have a favorite look?
My favorite look is I just aired right now. The favorite look is the perm. The frizzy perm of that 80s, the iconic father, son, and the House of Gucci is probably one of my favorites, because once she was on screen, I saw it and was just like, it just transported me to a time that was such a decade of such decadence, and it was so cool to see this on stage. This is one of the hairstyles that were probably ones that I fought a lot, because they didn't want this look. It would look too ugly and whatnot, but if it wasn't, it would not have made that scene so iconic, I think.
I mean, you're very authentic in all that you do. So let's take a trip down memory lane. I mean, a lot of people are actually interested and curious as to how you started as a celebrity hairstylist, and how did you end up being where you are now? I mean, being Lady Gaga's hairstylist for what, the past 15 years?
Yeah, it's pretty long. I mean, for me, it doesn't seem that long ago. I don't set out when I first started. I didn't set out to be a celebrity hairstylist. I just wanted to do great work and be part of an artistic community that understood my type of art. I did hair and makeup since I was 13 years old. My mother was a hairdresser, and she taught me basically everything I know about this industry, because I worked in her hair salon every day, and so it was kind of in my DNA. So when I moved to Los Angeles, I wanted to work in fashion and do photos and print work. And I worked with a few people here in Los Angeles. And one day I got a phone call from my agent and said that there's this rising, emerging artist by the name of Lady Gaga. And she, I said, oh, I just saw her on the, VMAs bleeding to death on stage. I was like, wow, she's kind of like our new Bowie. I didn't expect the type of success or what would come out of it. I just wanted to work with such an interesting artist. And so when we started working together, slowly we just started to realize that, we both share the same kind of mindset when it came to creating art. So, sometimes you just have to take chances on yourself in life and really put yourself out there. I think I took one of the chances that I took. Really paid off. I'm very proud of all the work that we've done in the past 15 years. It's quite a journey to be with one artist for such a long time. But when I look back at it, I can seriously really be proud of this journey so far.
I mean, it seems like you were at the right place at the right time in order for you to be where you are now. I mean, message for all those that want to follow your path. I mean, they're looking up to you, aspiring to be you. I mean, how do we go about it?
Yeah, I to this day I get messages from like looking at these photos of me. That's like 15 years ago. But I get messages from young artists, hairdressers and makeup artists that want to know what and how they do what I do. And really, you really have to put in the work and really believe in yourself. I know that sounds cliche. And I literally, the reason why I'm still doing what I do is because I constantly have to remind myself to believe in myself. Even to this day, you are always going to be tested and you're always going to have to be prepared for that moment. Like you said, I was there at the right moment, at the right time. I was ready. I've always been ready since I was really young, and I always wanted to do this. I love what I do. So what I wanted to leave as a message is that, learning and growth is impossible without failure. You can't just become a famous celebrity hairdresser overnight. You really have to put in the work and believe in what you do and represent something that really means something to you. And representation to me right now is really important to me. Representing my Asian culture, my Asian heritage, and who I am, especially now, I want to share light on my community.
Well, we are definitely proud of you. I mean, thank you so much for sharing the Asian community with the rest of the world once again. I mean, don't forget, you really have to love what you do. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations to you once again. And